If I could have enough of that would come in, all right, I didn't know how long it would take, but when they said the trip was real, here was my second question. The second question I asked was, can I make money on the monthly fee that people pay? All right? Because here's what I thought. If the trips were real, people would buy the membership, right? They go on vacation. They can't get these kind of trips any other place. So would they keep paying whatever the monthly fee was? There was three choices. You saw it in there, right? You could pay as little as $25 a month or as much as $100 a month. But it didn't matter whichever membership they had. Is if they liked the trips and they kept paying month after month after month after month, and I could get credit for not only the people I shared it with, but it didn't matter how big it got. So if I told my friend Van, and Van tells Kayla, and Kayla tells James, I get credit for James just like I got credit for Van. He likes that idea. Oh. It doesn't matter how big it gets. They said, yes, that's true. I didn't sleep. Because here's what I imagine in my mind. See, every one of this room, we have a number that if you have that amount of money that comes in per month, and it automatically showed up month after month, I promise you roll over instead of roll out. You would do something different. You would make different choices. Would you agree? Yes. I don't know what that number is. It's not as big as you think it is either. All right? It's a few $1,000s a month. Maybe $5,000 a month. Most of us in this room, $5,000 a month that automatically hit the bank account, you start changing how you did things. Is that true? Yes. That's not that far away. Okay? And so, that was my second question. Here's the third question as I wrap this up and bring James up here. The third question I asked was, how are you going to do the marketing of this? See, I owned an advertising and marketing company for about 15 years before I saw this. And so I made it my business, if you will, to understand different strategies in marketing. Because I needed to know what they were. I didn't know what company I was going to work with next. And they would need advice on stuff. So I asked lots of questions. Well, they said there's only 2 marketing teams. All right? Many of you have no idea what that represents. All right? But the person that invited you can help you understand that. All right? Because in the idea, there's 2 components. So before I wrap this up, what I want to talk about, I want you to make sure you understand this. You can be part of our club and not be part of the business. Does everybody understand that? Yes. So we have one piece. You could be a member of our club, which is either the basic membership, the gold membership, or the platinum membership. You also could choose to be part of our business over here, which allows you the opportunity to market and sell the membership over here where you can earn commissions on. Does that make sense? Or you can do both together if you want to. Now see, for me personally, I was interested in the business side because I took the red pill. And I've been looking for 20 years for the right thing. 20 years. And it wasn't just casually looking. I don't know how many businesses I started in that 20 years, but a lot. All right? So I knew what I was looking for when I saw it, that it could create a residual component. And so I was interested in the marketing. They said, there's only 2 teams. I said, I know how that works. Put me in next. And they said, well, so are you going to do something with this? I go, I have no idea. They said, why are you getting in? I said, because the next person you call, you'd have to put on my team, and I can get paid like I put them there, even if I don't know them. Is that how this works? I come from the country, but I'm not a dumbass. I'll take all the help I can get. Okay? So let me just demonstrate how that works. Would you stand up, ma'am? What's your first name? Chanel, just stand up. I'm not going to ask you to do anything other than just stand here, okay? I'm going to say that Chanel is somebody that I talk to. All right? And Chanel, do you have a friend here? What's her name? Nikki. All right, Nikki, you want to stand up? So this is how this works. Come right up here. This is one team that I'm going to start. And so what happens is let's say that I know Nikki, and she doesn't know her, and I add Nikki right here. Nikki, you stand right here beside her. That means she's going to get credit for Nikki, but she didn't know her. Who likes that idea? Okay. I have 2 of these teams I'm going to do, and so let's say I have someone else. All right, what's your name, sir? Eugene, come on up here if you don't mind. I know Eugene. Eugene is going to be on this team right here. These ladies don't know Eugene, but do you think they might like Eugene if Eugene joins and they get credit for Eugene? Okay. All right, you guys can sit down. I want to tell you what took place and happened. So how many understand what's going on? So what takes place when you decide to start, if you are involved in the business, you're going to be placed in a line of people. And when you get in that line, if there's other people going that line, they have to be added below you, and you get credit for that business. Right? If they talk to somebody, I'll tell you what happened to me. This might never happen to you, but I want to behind the computer. Just 28 minutes. I said, when my friends get ready to hang up the phone, I said, you have to promise me one thing. They said, what's that? I want to be in before you make the next phone call. I had already told them I didn't know if I was going to do anything other than I wanted in. I signed up. 28 minutes later, they call somebody named Troy. Troy was a doctor in Oklahoma. I did not know Troy. All right? But 28 minutes later, they call Troy. Troy says yes. So Troy gets added to my team. I don't know Troy. Troy, what happens, Troy just gets in to take trips. And, he's going to be involved in the business. But, he said, I just want to get on some vacations. I didn't know if this was going to work or not. So he goes on a vacation. He comes back from the vacation. He's in the OR. And what happens is all the other people in the OR, they ask Troy, hey, how was your vacation? Right? If you go on vacation, does anybody ever ask you that? Yeah. All the time. So the nurses and, the other doctors said, how was your vacation? He said, man, it was amazing. He said, it was way better than I ever thought it was going to be. They go, why is that? They just said, well, it just was really amazing. Well, what did you pay, Troy? He tells them what he paid. And they go, how did you do that? He goes, well, part of this club. And they go, can we be part of the club? He says, I don't know, but I think so. That day, almost everybody in the OR decided to sign up. Well, at that point, Troy, he's smart enough to figure out, wow, this might really work. And through Troy's contacts and the people that he brought in, they brought in, there's many, many tens of thousands, probably 150,000 people, maybe more than that. I haven't looked at the number that joined because Troy had some other contacts. Well, guess what? I got credit for all those. See, Van and Caleb are on my team only because they're on Troy's team. Because somebody knew somebody that 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 knew Van. Is that crazy? Crazy. But the business that Van does, I had no idea, and it was because of Troy. I still get credit for that business, and I can earn revenue on that. So I only tell you this so you can understand that as you make a decision to participate, just understand if you're choosing to be involved in the business, there could be people that get added to your team tonight, and if they go talk to somebody tomorrow that decides to join, that benefits you. You're okay with that, right? Yes. So timing does make a difference. You can take as long as you like to decide. It's okay. I just knew that my consequences would have been severe if I looked back, if I would have waited more than 28 minutes. All right? Might not happen to you. All right? But I wasn't willing to take a chance. I just said, I want to be in next. I'll figure out later if I want to do something or not. And so, fast forward, here's what happened to me. About 8 months in, I had created enough revenue where we got rid of the 2 businesses we owned. My life was completely upside down with no time. We had no money. One of the businesses I owned was way, way in the tank. And my wife and I, my wife Susan back there, if you'll wave, Susan, please. We weren't getting along. Our relationship was really not good. And a big part of that was because I worked all the time. I mean, it was literally, I was missing my family growing up. I had 2 small kids. They were 10 and 7. My wife and I don't talk to each other. I'm trying to figure out how to pay the bills and keep the gators off.
That's right.
All right? That's all I was trying to do. And so consequently what happened is that created, not a good relationship. So when I saw World Ventures, I needed something different. But here's what I figured out. If I want something different, I have to do something different. Now the cool thing about this is I didn't have to give everything up. So 8 months in, I did this part-time. 8 months in, I was able to create enough revenue that I said, I'm going to get rid of them other businesses, and I did. I went full-time. I took the next 24 months or so, and I worked as hard as I possibly could. I treated this the same as my other businesses, early in the morning till late at night. But after about 30 months in, life got a lot different, really different. And I'll tell you one real fast story. Is about 30 months in, or somewhere in that range, I talked to my wife Susan. I said, let's go on a trip. And so let's just take a month off. She couldn't believe I was going to take a month off. But here's what happened. I saw that the business started to take off. And it started to grow really, really fast. And there was thousands of people joining. And so we leave, and we don't have an agenda other than we've got these places that we want to go to. All right, I live in Kansas, so we decided we're going to do a drive trip, and we left, and we were going to head west. South Dakota, Wyoming, Montana, Colorado, Idaho. And we were just going to try to figure out where we wanted to go. And we had no governor on how much money the kids were going to spend. Our kids had never been able to ever do anything like that. It was always, the answer was no when they said they wanted something. Well, this was going to be one. I didn't tell them this, by the way, ahead of time. All right, they could spend whatever they wanted. That would have been a bad thing. But I told Susan, I said, whatever they want, let's do it. They pick it, we're going to do it. If they want to buy it, we're just going to buy it. Well, we're 3 weeks into this trip. We're in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and I'm sitting in a hotel room. I look at my wife. Actually, I think she said to me, she goes, I think we should probably check the bank accounts. It's been 3 weeks in, never looked at the bank accounts, and we're just thinking about, we've been spending a lot of money. I mean, it seemed like a few thousand every day. Right? I don't know if it was that much, but it was probably a lot of days, maybe more than that. And 3 weeks in, she goes on the internet. I remember watching her dial it up online. She looks at the computer, and guys, when you got a girlfriend or a wife that gets that look and they shake their head like this, and it's not right, who knows what I'm talking about? I see my wife going like this, and I go, I guess we just run around a little too far. She looked at me, you're going to never believe this. I go, what's that? She said, there's more money in the account than when we left. It was in that moment in time that I recognized that I had created what my friend told me he did, and that was do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, but he could not spend what came in his account. And that was years ago. And our travel schedule of fun and the stuff that we do, like this or playing, is like crazy. It's just, I don't even know how to explain it. This is the coolest thing I've ever done in my whole life. And what's even more cool than what's happened to me and my family is to watch other people. There's a lot of people in this room I know. I saw them when they got started or talked to them on the phone when they just joined. And now what's happening is their lives are getting really different. Over time, it doesn't happen just like that. But it does happen. And it takes a little bit of time for that to take place if you're willing to put effort in. All right? And, my friend Darren Walker and Sarah Bale, I met them, most of you guys are on their team. I watched them start. I remember meeting him and talking to him on the phone, and I came and did an event about 4 years ago in New York here. And I remember Darren was just getting started. He qualified for that lifestyle bonus, for the car bonus, and my wife and I are walking around in Times Square, and we walk into the M&M store, and Darren calls me. He calls me on the phone. I see it's Darren. He's just kind of getting it going. He's got maybe 30 or 40 people on his team. I don't know how many on our team now, probably 6,000, 8,000. 8,000. He's got 8,000 on his team now. He calls me. I'm in the store there, and he says, I just got one question, dude. He said, is this life really real? And we talked about it being real and what it really represented, and he said, I'm going for it. That was when he had less than 100 on his team. Now he's got 8,000. And his life is really different, and there's a lot of people in this room, their lives are different because he decided. See, what you have to understand, I know you're only thinking about you right now, but there's a lot of other people that if you don't say yes to this, they miss it. That's scary. Because if someone wouldn't have called me and made a decision for me, I would be in a really different spot right now in life. I don't even know where I'd be. And so, I'm going to bring James up here. You guys got some amazing leadership in this market. And I met James. James, how long ago did we meet?
2.5 years ago.
2.5?
Yeah, no more.
James ran help me out.
Community center.
Community center when I met him, and I met Darren at the same time. He's built a massive business. He's somebody, one of the local leaders here that is actually just cranking this out. So, and he's changing a bunch of people's lives. So I'm going to bring up my buddy James Roberts.